Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. The hostess looked past my shoulder and smiled like we were old friends. Your party's already seated, sir. I booked the table for two. Anniversary. White shirt, new laces, fresh flowers in the truck. I followed her through the main room, and the noise shifted. Forks paused. Whispering started. We turned the corner, and I saw the party. Vanessa, hair too done for a weeknight. Eric, in a blazer he only wears when there's a play. Two of her friends from Pilates. A guy with a camera on a little tripod. On the table, a thick blue folder with Morrison & Associates stamped in silver. A stack of pens laid out like scalpels. Vanessa lifted a hand like she was hosting a charity lunch. Happy anniversary. Let's be adults. If I'd read the place settings right at the door, I would have turned around and let the valet keep the truck. I sat anyway. The waiter hovered with a bottle. Water, Ya told him. I slid my phone face up and tapped the recorder. Looks like a full house. Eric leaned back. We thought a civilized conversation would go better with witnesses. I looked at the folder. Do witnesses get appetizers? Vanessa ignored it. I don't want drama. We've grown apart. We both deserve peace. So here's the clean way. I'll keep the house. We'll split your company's equity, 50-50, just on paper. You can buy me out over time. Standard support, nothing crazy. And I want Buddy. He's more attached to me. Buddy is our dog. He follows me from the shop to the couch like a shadow with a heartbeat. I glanced at the folder again. That all fits in there. The package covers it. Eric jumped in. Templates. It'll save everyone time. I rested my elbows, looked right at Vanessa. Let me be clear. You brought me to a restaurant to sign my life with a ballpoint. She forced a patient smile. We're avoiding mess. People make this ugly. We don't have to. Because there's a camera? The guy with the tripod adjusted his angle. Just documenting, he said, not meeting my eyes. I turned to the hostess, who lingered at the perimeter like she smelled a fire. Do you still do the ribeye? We do, she said. Good. I looked back at Vanessa. You're not getting a public scene. I'm not asking for a scene, she said. I'm asking for cooperation. House. Half of what I built, monthly payments, and my dog, I replied. That's not cooperation. That's a shopping list. She picked up a pen. You've been distant. It's not working. This is the cleanest way. I stacked the pens. I won't be signing anything under a placemat. Eric spread his hands. No one's strong-arming you. We're setting a tone. You set a tone with a camera and a law firm folder, I said. Here's mine. From this second, everything between us is by email. I'm not discussing assets in front of friends or phones. And anything tied to my business is frozen until I'm satisfied it's safe. That includes the house budget. Vanessa blinked. You can't freeze the house budget. I can stop paying for a performance, I said. Tonight is over. Send me whatever you want me to read. So you're refusing? Eric said. I'm stating a boundary. I folded my napkin, kept my voice level. If there's a real conversation to be had, it happens at my office, recorded, with everyone identified. No more ambushes. No more witnesses who order dessert on my tab. The waiter returned. I stood. We're going to take this to go, I told him. And please bring me the check for whatever they've had up to now. I thought you wanted to celebrate, Vanessa muttered. You turned it into a board meeting, I answered. Wrong building. Don't be stubborn, she snapped. You'll look bad. Only if I perform, I said. I'm done performing. I walked to the host stand and paid. On the way out, I texted my banker. Freeze joint card. Limit to groceries. Pending changes. I texted Jenna, my ops manager. Schedule early meetings 7:30. Lock down vendor portals. Bring NDAs. Then I sent Mark, my accountant, a single line. No distributions without my written approval. When I stepped back onto the sidewalk, the air felt like Monday morning. Not an anniversary. Not an ending. An audit. If I'd known where it was headed, I wouldn't have bothered with the flowers in the truck. But they were going to be useful later. At 7:30, I had coffee with Jenna and Mark at the shop's conference table. The shop sits between a tire store and a diner. The people there know my first name and my invoices. That's home. Jenna slid her laptop open. I got your text. You want full lockdown? I want controlled access, I said. Vendor logins rotated. Purchase approvals rerouted to me only. Payroll stays normal. Any new lines of credit flagged to my email. Mark adjusted his glasses. Anything I should know? You'll see a packet soon with my name on it, I told him. Ignore it. I'll forward what matters. Is Vanessa okay? Jenna asked. She's organized, I said. We're going to be more organized. Jenna nodded, like she'd been waiting for me to say it for months. She likes clear orders. She hates gray areas. I hired her for that. I plugged my phone into the TV and opened a folder labeled Assurance, my copy of something I'd found on our home computer. Inside, screenshots of calendar entries that didn't line up with her gym schedule. Map pins from the north side, where we don't know anyone. Photos of receipts for perfume, and a second phone I never saw around the house. And a folder named Insurance buried under a bland name with spreadsheets of account numbers that weren't ours, and draft forms for loans tied to the same line of work as mine, just without my signature. 8 months ago, Vanessa started working on us. New calendar blocks for therapy, though I never got invited. 2 date nights, she canceled with polite texts like she was writing to a manager. Let's skip tonight. Need a me evening. A burner phone I found in a laundry basket that went dead when I pressed the side button. A note on her laptop about Patricia Lunchery permitting. At first, I thought midlife panic. Then it smelled like a plan. You think she'll try to open something in your business's name? Mark asked, looking at the forms on the screen. I think she's already tried, I said. I think someone's holding doors open. Want me to check for recent credit pulls? He asked. Do it, I replied. Also, start separating personal and company expenses right now. New card for the house. Limit to basics. Send Vanessa a copy of the policy. Effective today, no use of business accounts for anything outside operations. Keep it dry. Jenna typed. What about the spare keys to the warehouse? Collected by noon, I said. No fuss. My phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. Webb, the voice said, low and plain. You reached out. I'd called Webb 2 weeks back after finding the insurance folder. He used to work background checks for a security company. Berlin boots, rumpled jacket. A man built to sit outside places unnoticed. What have you got? I asked. Faces, times, locations, he said. Your wife meets a man most Thursdays. Name's Eric. He came up last night in that file you sent, the law firm drafts. He circles with a Patricia Strom. She's on the city council. They talk like she can help with moving parts. Your name gets mentioned when they discuss financing. Mark looked up. I put the call on speaker. Go on. Your wife signed for a storage unit last month under her maiden name, Webb continued. Small. Paperwork boxes inside. I saw labels, copies, wires, drafts. I didn't open anything. Good, I said. Don't touch. Just keep schedule. Keep collecting who meets who. You want me on them today? He asked. Yes, I said. And be available tonight. There's going to be a meeting. Where? Same roof as my vows, I told him. Only this time there's an agenda. After the call, Jenna blew out a slow breath. You're calm. I'm busy, I said. It helps. At 11, Vanessa walked into the shop. She never comes by. She avoids the grease and the people who like me too much to pretend. She had 2 coffees and a smile she wears when she's about to sell me something. This yours, she said, setting the cup down. Thought you could use it. I didn't invite her to sit. You found last night creative. I found it practical, she said, glancing at Jenna and Mark. We don't need to be enemies. This can be friendly. You ambushed me, I replied. I announced a change, she said. I get that you're upset, but we can keep our lives clean. If we start nice, it stays nice. I like nice, I said. I'm allergic to fake. She rubbed her thumb along the lid of her cup. I'm willing to be flexible. Send everything you expect me to read, I said. By email. Fine, she said. But let's at least do dinner tonight, no audience. I'll cook. We can talk without all the performance. Jenna shifted her weight. I kept my eyes on Vanessa. 7 o'clock. 30 minutes. No cameras. And don't bring Eric. He's just helping, she said. He knows the process. He's not part of my process, I answered. She tilted her head. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I'm making it normal, I said. We'll see you at 7. When she left, Jenna leaned in. You sure about dinner? Not dinner, I said. A checkpoint. Want me around? She asked. Just make sure the office camera system is clean and the mics work, I said. And call the locksmith for tomorrow. I drove home early to set the house the way I like a negotiation. Bright lights, no clutter, recorder on the mantel. I put the flowers from the truck in a vase and set them on the coffee table. Visual history helps. People remember dates when you put petals in front of them. Vanessa came at 7 with a casserole and a softer voice. "I'm sorry about last night," she began, sliding the dish onto the counter. "The group thing wasn't fair." "Thank you," I said. "I panicked," she went on. "I thought if it felt official, it would be easier. You don't listen when it's just me." I looked at the casserole. "Smells good. I want this to be respectful," she said. "We built a life. I'm not trying to take what's yours. I just want what's fair." "Then withdraw the house demand," I said, "and leave the business out of it." She hesitated. "The house is stability. We agreed it's mine if anything happens." "We agreed to pick the color of the door," I replied. "The rest you came up with over appetizers. We can split proceeds later," she tried. "It's not even about the building. It's memories." "The building's in my name," I said. "Memories aren't a ledger." She sighed. "Would you stop talking like a spreadsheet? Would you stop treating my work like a vending machine?" I answered. "Be decent," she said, finally showing a little of the frost. "I could be difficult." "You already rehearsed difficult," I said. "Tonight you're trying polite. Pick a lane." Her eyes flashed, then cooled. "I'll send over a revised outline. The house stays. Everything else is negotiable." "Send it," I said. "I'll read." She softened again. "I miss when we laughed." "Me too," I said. "Back when dinner meant dinner." She left the casserole, kissed the air near my cheek, and went upstairs. I listened to drawers open and close. They sounded like the end of a season. When she came down, her bag looked heavier than a purse. "Early spin class," she said, shrugging. "I'll sleep at my sister's." "Good night," I replied. After the door clicked, I texted Webb, "Tomorrow 6 p.m. at my place. Bring what you have. Invites going out." Then I emailed Vanessa, Eric, and Patricia Strom. Vanessa had copied me on messages with Patricia before, when she was proud of brunch with someone connected. I kept it simple, meeting to clear misunderstandings regarding assets. Tonight's ambush was inappropriate. Tomorrow I expect transparency. Attendance requested: Vanessa, Eric, Ms. Strom. Neutral observer, Webb. Eric responded first. "Why Webb?" "So no one has to rely on memory," I wrote back. Patricia replied with a single line: "I don't attend private domestic matters." "Understood," I wrote. "Public duties sometimes overlap with private introductions. I'd rather keep this contained. Your call." 5 minutes later, "I can stop by for a short time." I put my phone face down, turned off the lights, and slept like a man who finally labeled the boxes in a messy garage. Eric arrived early, pacing the sidewalk. The neighbor across the street, Mrs. Alvarez, watered her plants and watched like it was cable. Vanessa pulled up next, alone, hair in a neat twist. Patricia came last in a sensible sedan, sunglasses, jacket like it belonged to a different town. Inside, I gestured to the chairs. Vanessa chose the couch. Eric sat next to her, too close. Patricia took the chair closest to the door. Webb leaned in the doorway, blending with it. "Let's lay it out," I began. "Last night was an ambush. Today is structured. I'll start with a statement, then we'll compare notes." Vanessa waved a hand. "We don't need." I rolled my hand like a conductor. 8 months ago, you started living a second calendar. You brought new perfumes home, but they didn't live on our bathroom shelf. You blocked out therapy and workshops, none of which involved me. A second phone showed up in our laundry, then disappeared. On our home computer, there's a folder called Insurance, with draft applications for financing tied to my industry, using public data about my company. You applied for a storage unit under your maiden name. You've been meeting Eric frequently. Eric is connected with Patricia, who sits on the council that helps shape permits and contracts. Your plan, near as I can tell, was to push me into a civilized split, secure the house, stake a claim to my company, and then, through shell buyers, force my assets toward a sale. That sale would, by luck or network, benefit a circle that includes Eric. If I'm wrong, now's your chance to correct me. Silence. Webb flicked his pen cap once. Patricia sat very still. "That's a lot of story," Vanessa said finally. "You've always had a vivid imagination." "I have receipts," I answered. "Would you like the pile or the highlights?" Eric scoffed. "This is ridiculous." "Probably," I said. "That's why I invited you. Absurd things are easier with the authors present." Patricia cleared her throat. I'm here as a courtesy. If my name is being used in ways I haven't authorized, I need to know. Vanessa shot her a quick look. No one's using your name. We're just adults trying to. I tapped the remote. Photos and emails popped onto the TV. Eric's meeting with Vanessa at a coffee place. A screen of messages where he attached a draft with Morrison and Associates letterhead labeled Asset Division Outline. A calendar hold with P. Strom, Permits Timeline. The storage unit form with Vanessa's maiden name. A spreadsheet listing target valuations. Eric leaned forward. You're violating privacy. I'm protecting mine, I replied. Patricia set her sunglasses on the coffee table. Where did you get these? Locations are public spaces, Webb said. He sounded like he'd tell the truth even if it cost him a job. You were photographed entering the same building as Mr. Eric on 3 dates. Times are on the images. I'm licensed to gather time and place. This is harassment, Vanessa snapped. This is documentation, I answered. Let's keep words accurate. Patricia looked at Eric. You told me this was about helping a friend navigate paperwork. You didn't mention storage units or shell buyers. Eric flushed. Those are just contingency drafts. And the camera at dinner? I asked. Contingency ambience? Vanessa crossed her arms. We were prepared. For what? I asked. For you to be stubborn, she said. For you to drag your feet. I wanted an orderly plan. Your plan was I hand over the house, you get a stake in my company, and I pay monthly, I said. Orderly for who? She lifted her chin. For everyone. Everyone whose name is on those drafts, I said. Patricia stood, the chair legs talking to the floor. I can't be part of this. You already are, I said, calm as a level. Your position has been referenced in discussions I didn't authorize. You have a chance to help clean it up. Eric snapped. Stop posturing. You can't prove. I cut him. Prove what? That a city official's presence can influence how quickly permits move for certain buyers? That someone with access to process could flag an inspection or clear it? I didn't use that power, but I watched it get discussed like a tool. Patricia turned to Vanessa. Did you tell him we had lunch? Vanessa swallowed. I said we knew you. That's it. Not what those messages read, Webb murmured. Vanessa whirled. Who even is he? Neutral observer, I said. He makes sure this isn't a mud fight. Eric jabbed a finger toward me. You're grandstanding. None of this will hold up anywhere. I'm not in a courtroom, I said. I'm in my living room. My outcome is simple. My work remains mine, my dog stays with me. And the person who tried to turn our anniversary into a press conference learns that I don't negotiate on scripts handed to me by bystanders. Patricia's voice dropped. Eric, did you draft anything using my name? He shook his head too fast. No. We floated timelines in a private capacity. That's normal. Webb spoke up. The word fast track appears 4 times. Friendly desk appears twice. Patricia closed her eyes for a full second and then opened them differently. I need copies of everything. Now. Vanessa laughed without humor. Of course you'd flip. Self-preservation looks good on you. Patricia straightened. I will not be used to pressure a private citizen's livelihood. If my name appears in any package aiming to steer an outcome, I will cooperate with any inquiry and resign from anything that touches this. Restitution is better than embarrassment. Eric went pale. Patricia. She didn't look at him. Give me those copies. I handed her a folder. She didn't sit back down. She tucked it under her arm like a fire extinguisher, then faced me. What do you want, Mr. Collins? I want this to end quietly, I said. You step away from any involvement. Any applications or drafts tied to my work die on the vine. You send me a letter confirming you will not touch or influence anything tied to my name or my operations. And you don't say a word about this outside what your ethics policy requires. She nodded once. Done. Eric stood. You can't. Sit, Patricia said, and it had weight. He sat. I turned to Vanessa. Now you. She squared her shoulders. I won't be bullied. No, I said. You'll be documented. Here's what happens. You leave the house by Friday noon. You take what you brought. You sign a quitclaim on the title. You return my company files and remove yourself from any accounts. You agree that my business is not community property. In exchange, I transfer a fair, one-time settlement to a dedicated account, released after all conditions are met. But he stays with me. You get visitation if you ask. She stared. You're offering me a tip jar. I'm offering you less mess than you arranged, I said. And I'm adding a line. If any of your insurance copies or recordings see sunlight, that settlement shrinks to what a calculator would call basic. You don't have leverage, she said. You brought a camera to dinner, I answered. I have leverage. You tried to line up a parade. I canceled it. Eric leaned in again, voice tight. You think you're the only one who can move things. I know what I can move, I said. And I know what you can't once Patricia sends that letter. Patricia said, quiet but clear, I'll do it today. Vanessa's face changed. It wasn't anger. It was distance. The look she uses when a salesperson loses her interest. I need time to review. You have 48 hours, I said. At noon 2 days from now, the offer changes. No settlement, just a lock change and a storage unit with your name on it. I won't fight. I'll just stop participating. You couldn't stop me if you tried, she said, but it rang hollow. Watch me, I said. Patricia left first. Webb followed her out. Eric lingered, jaw working. He's bluffing, he told Vanessa. I opened the door and held it. Meeting's over. Check your email in an hour. Eric stared like he wanted to chew through wood. This isn't finished. It is for me, I said, and closed the door behind them. I sent 3 emails. The first to Patricia, with copies of the messages and photos. The second to Vanessa, with the terms I'd stated, plain and boring. The third to my staff, effective immediately. Any inquiries regarding asset sales or equity discussions are declined. We are not for sale. If anyone references a friendly buyer or fast process, refer them to me only. Then I called the locksmith. At 8 the next morning, I walked into Eric's favorite networking breakfast at a hotel downtown. Foreign turf. He works those rooms, shakes hands like they have batteries in them. He didn't see me at first. I took a plate and found a spot near the front where the microphone sits during updates. Lydia, the organizer, spotted me. Didn't know you were coming, she said. Figured I'd say hi, I replied. Eric climbed onto the platform with a grin. Good morning, team. Quick notes. There's opportunity in the small manufacturing space right now. I raised a hand. He recognized me, and the grin tugged. We take questions after, friend. Mine's short, I said. It's about the small manufacturing space. There's a rumor floating around about a sale. That rumor is false. Anyone who hears it can send the source to me. The room shifted. Heads turned. Eric held his smile like a mask with a broken strap. Always good to clarify. Always, I said. And to be extra clear, any mention of a fast approval path for permits or inspections tied to me is also false. We're boring and slow like everyone else. A few people chuckled. The point landed. Lydia gave me the smallest nod. Eric moved on with announcements, but he stumbled twice. That was enough. I threw public cold water on a plan designed to work in whispers. When I left, I texted Vanessa. Clock running. At noon, she called. I let it ring 3 times, then answered. I need more time, she said. You have the rest of today and tomorrow, I replied. Noon. That's not realistic, she tried. Your timeline at the restaurant was immediate, I said. You wanted signatures between salad and dessert. You're punishing me, she said. No, I said. I'm removing you from the steering wheel. She changed tone. I'm not your enemy. We can find middle ground. Withdraw the house and the business, I replied. Silence. Then she chose a new mask. Come home for lunch. I'll make sandwiches. We can talk without posturing. I'm at work, I said. I'll bring them there. She offered too quickly. You won't, I said. All communication by email. She exhaled loudly. You used to be kind. I used to be blind, I said. She hung up. At 4, a delivery driver brought a basket to the shop. Snacks, a card. Didn't mean to hurt you. Let's be gentle. I put it in the break room for the guys. I don't need apologies. I file them. At 6, I got an email from Patricia. As discussed, I will recuse from any matter relating to you. I am informing the proper office of potential conflicts and stepping down from committees where this overlap could occur. I will cooperate fully if asked. Restitution where applicable. She CC'd a generic city address. I forwarded it to Vanessa and Eric. No comment. Just a subject line, update. At 9, Vanessa sent a new packet. The Morrison and Associates cover, softer language. Temporary occupancy of residence by Vanessa for 6 months. Business valuation by mutually agreed third party. Companion animal rotation. She called Buddy a companion animal. That told me everything about where her head really was. I read it. I didn't reply. Friday morning, I woke up to a text from Eric. You'll regret being stubborn. A minute later, another from an unknown number. Friendly heads up. Inspectors might drop by next week. I smiled, forwarded both to Patricia with a simple FYI, and kept moving. 9 a.m., the locksmith changed the cylinders. The new keys felt honest in my hand. At 10, Vanessa pulled into the driveway. She walked straight to the door and tried her old key. It didn't turn. She knocked. I opened. Noon deadlines in 2 hours. You changed the locks, she said, disbelief for the audience of one neighbor pruning roses. I said I would, I replied. This is my home, she said. It was, I answered. Now it's a place you can visit when invited. You can't do this, she said. I just did, I said. You still have the settlement window. She folded her arms. I have rights. You have habits, I said. Rights will be honored by the letter. The rest is behavior. We're done rehearsing bad ones. She stared past me into the living room like she could will herself inside by looking hard enough. I stepped out, closed the door behind me, and handed her a folder. What's this? She asked. Inventory of your things, already packed, I said. Bedroom, bathroom, office. Movers will take them to a storage unit in your name at 3. I paid 3 months. After that, it's yours. Her lips parted. You boxed my life. You boxed mine first, I said. Blue folder on a white table. This is me returning the favor without the witnesses. Her phone buzzed. She glanced, then tucked it back. Eric says you're overplaying. Eric says a lot, I replied. She looked down the street like the pavement might tell her what to do. What about Buddy? Buddy stays, I said. He's settled. He has a yard and a route. You can walk him Saturday mornings at 9 if you ask a day before. She blinked. You're scheduling the dog. I'm scheduling access to what I care about, I said. You taught me to plan. She pulled a folded sheet from her bag. I'll sign a temporary agreement on the house, she said. But I want the business valued. That's non-negotiable. Then we're done, I answered. Don't be cruel, she said. I'm being clear, I said. Her jaw moved. Fine. The house goes. The business. No stake, I said. None. You don't touch it. She looked off again, thinking about the basket of plans tipping over. You'll wire the settlement today? Once the quitclaim is notarized, I said. And once you send an email confirming you have destroyed your copies of anything with my company's numbers. She betrayed herself with a small pause. What if I don't have copies? You wouldn't mind writing that line then, I said. Because it would be true. She swallowed. I'll send the line. You have 2 hours, I said. If I don't get it, the offer drops to moving boxes and Goodwill. She was quiet. Then she squared up, picked a last tactic. Can we at least have 15 minutes to say this isn't how I wanted it? We had 8 months for that, I replied. You used them. At 11:50, my email pinged. A scan of the signed quitclaim. A separate note. I confirm I have destroyed any private copies of documents relating to your company's financials or operations. A third email. I will not contact Patricia regarding permits or inspections. And a fourth, almost an afterthought. I would still like to see Buddy on Saturdays. I wired the settlement to a new account opened for this purpose. I sent a reply with the time of the movers and the code to the storage unit. 2 hours. They will wait 30 minutes for you. After that, it's on you. At 3, the movers called from the driveway. Vanessa was there, arms crossed, watching boxes walk out like they were betraying her. I signed the receipt. She watched my pen move. When the last box went into the truck, she looked at the house one more time. You're really ending it like this. You ended it in a dining room, I said. I'm finishing it at home. She swallowed hard and stepped toward the sidewalk. You'll regret being unkind. I'm not unkind, I said. I'm done. She opened her mouth, closed it, then looked at Buddy through the window and said, too soft for anything but truth. He'll miss me. Then be someone worth missing, I replied. 9 a.m. Saturdays. She walked to her car. She didn't look back. Good. It makes the work cleaner. A week later, I drove to the shop in a used pickup I'd wanted for years. Not shiny. Honest. The kind of thing that gets better when you throw lumber in the back. The house felt bigger without a second timetable breathing down its hallways. There were fresh towels and no scripts under the plates. Jenna knocked on my office door. UPS is here. I signed for the package. Inside, another blue folder. Morrison and Associates again. I almost laughed. The cover letter was short. Disregard previous drafts. No further action from our firm. I stood in the doorway with the folder and lifted it like a trophy of absence. The guys at the parts counter clapped. I didn't ask them to. Men clap when the noise stops. Patricia emailed 2 updates over the next month. 1. As agreed, I've stepped down from the committee. I am cooperating where necessary. Restitution underway for any undue advantages proposed. The city site posted a notice a day later with a simple line about realignment. No press. Exactly what I wanted. I heard about Eric from someone at the breakfast group. He looked tired. Deals fell through. People stopped returning his calls so fast. Funny thing about rooms. They remember who brings cameras to dinner. Vanessa moved to a smaller place across town, then to another state a little while after. I didn't follow. I heard about it from Mrs. Alvarez, who hears everything and tells me only what helps me keep my head straight. She asked a friend about jobs in a new city. Mrs. Alvarez said, trimming a bush. Said she wanted a fresh start. Everyone does, I replied. On a Saturday, 9 sharp, Vanessa knocked to take Buddy for a walk. She had plain shoes, no perfume. 30 minutes? She asked. 45, I said. Take the park route, not the busy one. She nodded. On the 3rd Saturday, she tried to linger and talk. We were good once. We were decent, I said. Then we stopped telling the truth. I'm telling it now, she said. You're keeping the rules now, I replied. That's not the same thing. She didn't push. Good. It kept things clean. 2 months in, I met someone new at the diner. Her name's Claire. She asked about my truck, not my past. We took it slow like adults. I don't turn my life into a stage anymore. I keep most of it between the walls of the house and the hum of the shop. Mark stopped by with numbers. You're up 12%, he said. People like buying from a man who looks like he knows where he's going. I know where I'm not going, I said. Jenna poked her head in later. You free tonight? The team wants to do barbecue at the warehouse. New grill. No speeches. I'll bring the ice, I said. Before I locked up, I took the last of the flowers from that first night, dried, kept out of stubbornness, and dropped them in the trash. Not a ceremony, just housekeeping. On the way home, I saw Eric at a stoplight. He stared straight ahead like the windshield had answers. I didn't honk. I didn't wave. I checked my mirrors and drove on. Vanessa texted once more outside the Saturday schedule. Can we talk? I didn't answer. She knew the rules. When she came on Saturday, she handed me Buddy's leash at 44 minutes and looked at the house. It's quiet, she said. It's peaceful, I said. Do you ever think about that dinner? She asked. Every time I open my calendar, I replied. It keeps me honest. She nodded, opened her mouth as if to keep going, and then thought better of it. See you next week. Ask the day before, I said. She smiled without heat. You really don't bend, do you? I bend for respect, I said. That's the only currency. I closed the door behind her and looked at the walls I painted with my own hands. No cameras, no scripts, just a dog who thumped his tail and followed me to the kitchen like he always does. When I think about the anniversary night, I don't feel fury. I feel clarity. She built a stage, invited an audience, and handed me a pen. I put the pen in my pocket and wrote my own rules. The last thing I said to her that mattered was at the storage unit, when she stood there with a key and a stack of boxes that used to live at my place. I handed her the settlement confirmation and the new key to the unit. She asked, "Is this it?" I said, "You wanted a stage. You got a